This is David Fortier with Superintendent Time, where we spend time with Bristol Superintendent of Schools, Ms. Iris White, and we chat up all things, BPS, Bristol Public Schools. A few seconds ago, we were just chatting about the New York Knicks. So Ms. White was raised in New York, and she has a certain affinity for the Knicks.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Back when Patrick Ewing was the center, and I think it was 93 or 94, they played in the finals against, I believe it was Houston, and they lost.
Yeah,
which was very sad.
He was a terrific player. Yes,
Yeah, he was
I have
terrific.
a soft spot for Ewing. I was just sharing though. I'm going on the record with this. I was a Los Angeles Lakers fan, so I go back. Yeah, I go back to 1970, and when Willis Reed showed up on the court for the Knicks, and it took down the Lakers back then, who were led by Wilt Chamberlain. So, but the Knicks this year were incredible. I can't get over how they won.
Yes, amazing games.
Amazing games.
Amazing comebacks.
Yes, and it was and of course Stefan Castle, a UConn grad. He was on the Spurs, and not to say the Spurs weren't terrific, because they have a bright future. But it was kind of great. So kind of
absolutely.
Great. And that's, I think, the first basketball conversation that I've had in ages that didn't bring up the Boston Celtics. So I have to bring up the Boston Celtics. That done. Check. We're all set.
We're all set.
All right. So it's been a while since we talked. We said we were going to be talking more regularly, and I hope we do establish that.
Yes, I hope so too.
Time does get away from us. You were involved in once again with the budget process here in Bristol. So we will chat a little bit about that.
Yes.
And then, but there are a few things you wanted to catch up on, things to look forward to this, in the coming days and even months, that we wanted to kind of go over and alert people to, because this is local news. So people should be aware of what's been happening. So one of the first things that's coming up that involves the school system is the Juneteenth.
Yes.
Which is this coming Friday, and the schools and offices will be closed. And you mentioned that as far as Juneteenth celebrations, they are being held in a decentralized manner. The schools are handling those.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I know that our school media center folks do a wonderful job of putting together resources for each of our holidays and our celebration months. They do a really great job of doing putting together those resources that staff can use with students in the classrooms. And also Carly Fortin, who's our chief academic officer, her office also does a great job of putting together resources that can be used in celebration.
Yeah, that's terrific. It's also June. It's also Pride Month.
Yes, it is.
And there's a banner hanging inside the hallways here at the Board of Education.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Downstairs at our second floor, we have the flag that's displayed down in the vestibule, facing the building, facing the front, Church Street. And again, Carly Fortin, her office, has also sent out resources district-wide that staff can use in order to celebrate and recognize.
Okay. All right. Then we also have the next event in order, chronological order. It is on the June 27th, where we have Family Fun Day over at Bames. It appears that it's geared towards younger families.
Yes. It is. I believe it's an annual event, and our staff here will have a table, so we'll be participating as well. It's very important that Bristol Public Schools has a presence at all the community events, and we really try to make sure that we're there to welcome families and welcome students and be part of the celebrations.
Looks like there's going to be an author's corner. We'll have local authors there. All right. There's a touch a truck. There's let's see. Oh, bring your teddy bears for a free checkup. So this is kind of fun. And there'll be food trucks. And that will be held over at Bames.
Yes.
On the boulevard. And that'll be from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday, June 27th. And this has become it's become a tradition here to have this fun day to introduce people to what's going on in Bristol. Okay. save the date. Back to school bash. Oh, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but this is in August.
Mhm.
All right. We still have summer. So
Yes, we do.
enjoy yourselves. Yes, we still have summer. But on in August, there's on August 19th, there's a back to school bash. And this year you are having a special event because it's not solo. It's
Yes,
you're going to merge with the mayor's pencil hunt.
absolutely.
All right. And that's over at Muzzy Field.
Yes, it is. And so we thank all of the vendors who participate in the back to school bash. It's really an opportunity for families to learn about the different community organizations and partners that have resources available to them. Erica Triani is a staff member here, does a wonderful job logistics organizing that event. We also have school administrators who come, as well as their PTA, PTO representatives. It's an opportunity to do outreach to families, tell them about PTAs, PTOs, how they can get involved
Well, that's
in their
terrific.
local
Yeah.
schools.
It is. I mean, people today do have a lot of demands on their time.
Yes, they do.
Right. But I mean, the parent teacher organizations, and they're important, and they're part of a community.
Yes, they are.
And I go, of course, I'm very fond of the neighborhood school model, where it's your neighborhood, so you've got to kind of recreate that community over a much broader area.
Hmm.
And this is a key to that. So if people are if raising kids, I guess involvement in PTOs are very important.
Yes.
Yeah, as far as that community building goes, and then to meet your administration, your teachers. Again, there aren't as many opportunities, I guess, to do that with this particular structure.
Hmm.
I think about systemic things a lot.
Yes, you do, don't you?
I do.
Yes.
All right. And then we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but
Mhm.
this might be a good introduction to people who aren't aware of this already. But we do have an education foundation, the Bristol
Yes, we
Business
do.
Education Foundation, and they award many grants to public school teachers and to support innovative programs for students. And they are going to be having a trivia night fundraiser
Hmm.
in November. So this is a heads up. Put it on your calendar now. November 6 p.m. over at the DoubleTree and of Century Drive. This is a full evening though, so it's got a meal.
Hmm.
It's got a meal, and they've got the trivia games. They've got 50-50 raffles, and they've got all kinds of things. And just for people, it is a 21 and older event. There was anything you wanted to mention about the role of the Bristol Business Education Foundation and grants?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Thank you. So this year, we're advertising this event early, and there's an early bird ticket price through
Oh,
the end of June, $40 per person.
that's
So you
important.
can save some
Yes.
money.
Yes.
Ticket prices increased to $50 on July 1st. So
Yeah.
we wanted to make sure people knew that. But we really want to highlight the work, the partnership with the Bristol Education Foundation, the mini grants in particular. These are money that the foundation provides to staff, school staff applies. I believe the application comes out in the fall. And it's an opportunity to fund innovative, new, exciting projects, initiatives that we're not able to fund with our local resources. And so, for example, one of the mini grants, our current teacher of the year, 2027 teacher of the year, Bevan Parent, who's a teacher at Mountain View School, she used the mini grant to fund Kindness Counts, which is a program that gets her students involved in supporting local communities,
Mhm.
local organizations such as nursing homes, service learning projects.
Mhm.
So that's just one example. And I was speaking to David before we started
Mhm.
about we want to do more to highlight the mini grants and what they've meant to the students and the staff who've received them. So I thought there might be an opportunity to do a partnership with Bristol Edition to do some mini videos.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Highlighting some of these initiatives, maybe even go into the schools and see some of the resources or see some of the activities, the lessons that were generated because of these. So that would be a wonderful partnership, I think, between the schools and
Yeah.
the Bristol Edition.
And that's terrific.
Mhm.
That's right. Absolutely. I've got to
Mhm.
remember to write that down. But I don't think that's one that's kind of I think that's one that will come back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've had conversations also. I know we're going to talk about the budget with Mayor Ellen Zapo-Sasu about how we as a school system can do more outreach to businesses about forming business partnerships, businesses that want to provide resources and supports to the schools.
Mhm.
In the past, I understand that there was a staff person at central office who led
Mm.
this work, and that staff member no longer works here. We're not talking about adding a new position, but looking at
Everyone, calm down,
we're
everyone.
not
Calm
talking
down.
about we're not talking about adding a new position, but
Right.
some of the folks here who have community connections, myself, others of us who have networks within the community, how can we utilize those and leverage those to provide more resources to the school? So that's
Yeah.
definitely something we want to pursue in the
Yeah.
coming year.
And as far as these mini grants, they're not tied to anything. These are things people. There would be a proposal, there would be an application, there
Yes,
would be, and then the business would decide if it were something that they would want to,
absolutely.
fund with a mini grant. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
as as a, I don't think anyone is ever a former educator.
Yeah.
As an
Sure,
educator,
you're always an
you know,
educator.
you're
once
always an
you're
educator.
educated.
I mean, teachers do kick in a lot of their own money.
Yes.
And there are different school systems can do more for their teachers than others depending on the budgets.
Hmm.
So school supplies is an issue, but then to go do and try to put on a different program or something, you really do kind of need funds just for incidentals. And so a mini grant is the perfect vehicle to allow a teacher to kind of follow up on a vision that
Hmm.
really kind of helps their community and the school.
Yes.
Yeah, it's yeah. So that's terrific,
Hmm.
and that's the Bristol Business Education Foundation.
Yes. So we want to give them a big shout out. They do some terrific work. We're very grateful to them.
Great. Well, we are coming. Are getting to the end of another school year.
Yes.
So, and as always, and what we found out, and the way things kind of work out themselves with the school budget, that was another. I like to. It's part of the process.
Yes.
It's a grind. It's got to be detailed. There have to be there's some parameters. You've got to kind of be able to meet when it comes to the budget and what's going to work and what's not going to work. How was this year's process?
There was a lot of collaboration between City Hall and myself. So the mayor, her first day in office, she invited me over, and we had some pictures that we took. But we talked about how we can have a collaborative relationship and how important the school system is to her and how important it is to support the school system. And my commitment also to fiscal responsibility and being mindful of the taxpayers as well. And so we just agreed to have frequent communication, which we did. And we also were able to lobby together. We went together to the Capitol and went up to talk to legislators specifically about the context of Bristol
Mm-hmm.
and the challenges we have faced. And I have to say, our Bristol legislative delegation was wonderful as well. I met with them early on and was able to share with them, and they really understood and were very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
So we appreciate that. The mayor and I even worked together on our written testimony, to make sure that they were aligned. So we were able to, of course, receive the supplemental funding from the state, which really made the difference for us here,
Certainly did.
because that made sure we didn't have to lay off any staff, which is huge, which is beyond huge. We're very, very grateful that we did not have to do that.
And it is, in lots of ways, it's a shame it has to come down to, funding from the state to be able to get to a
Yes.
local budget. So there are
Yes.
different levels there. So there's the Board of Education functioning here in the city, but then there's also connections to the state and what the state can do, because the
Yes.
state makes certain demands on the local public education. And we all know right now, one of the big things has to do with special education.
Absolutely.
So there's only certain things that the local, when I say superintendent, school board, can kind of do and handle that, and the city government. I mean, we do have a unique situation in Bristol. And I think everyone is maybe tired of hearing this, but we do have a board of finance. All right,
Yes, we do.
it's part of our oversight, and so you submit your proposed budget.
Mhm.
And then it goes for review. You go
Yes.
through the process. So lots of times, especially doing reporting, we'll put out this year, this is what you're looking for.
Yes.
All right. That's an ideal. Let people know what an ideal situation, what you would be looking for. And this is how it is. But typically an ideal budget does not get through because there's
Right.
give and take. And so when you say
Right.
you have a collaborative relationship with, City Hall and the finance
Yes.
board, right? It doesn't mean that there isn't going to be a difference of opinion or a different
Correct.
outcome. It's just
Correct.
the way you go into it and the relationship is more cordial, let's say.
Yes.
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 I just,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I think it's important for people to understand there is a process involved, and where you start isn't always where you end, but you hope when you end that it's something that works for the city, because that's the goal.
Absolutely. And collaboration, as you said, doesn't mean I'm going to get everything that I've asked for, right?
Right.
Because the past 2 years that I've been here, my budget asks have been high, but I made a commitment to be completely transparent. So sharing with the community before making the budget cuts, because the cuts should be made collaboratively with the Board of Education as well as with the city. Already had conversations with the mayor where she's already said, okay, Iris, I know you're looking at the budget. We're going to be watching it very closely.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to need to be looking at grants. You're going to need to look at business partnerships. You're going to need to look at how you can assess where cuts can be made. So there's a lot of accountability
Mm-hmm.
on the part on our part to
Yeah,
make
right.
sure that we are being responsible with the funds.
And
And so
that's
she's made that very clear. So I don't want it to make it appear that it's a free check
right.
I'm
'Cause,
expecting or I'm going to receive.
right. So and along those lines, draw some boundaries for me. Draw some. So superintendent, board of education,
Mm-hmm.
finance board, city hall, city council. It's like you propose a budget.
Yes.
Is that in consultation with the school board, the education board of education?
So that's a great question. So I obviously spent enough time with the Board of Education commissioners to know where their priorities are.
Mm-hmm.
And so, of course, take that into consideration when I build the budget. But then after I present my proposed budget, then it goes to the Board of Education, and then they can tell me and have a vote as to if they're going to move forward with my whole ask to the Board of Finance, or if I need to make cuts.
So there's accountability.
Yes, there
There's one
absolutely is
level right there.
accountability.
Yes, there's accountability. So there's you have to have the board of education who will look at that.
Yes,
So for readers and citizens, you get a proposal and you get check and balance.
yes,
The board of ed comes back and says, okay, we can live with this or not. And then from there it goes back to you,
yes,
and then it goes back to them. I mean, in workshops.
yes, in
Yes,
workshops.
right,
Yes,
right.
in workshops.
In workshops, and then now does the board of ed, then finally the board of education makes a final approval.
Yes,
That's how that works, and then it goes.
Yes.
Then it goes to the finance board.
yes, it goes to the Finance Board, and they'll say to me, "This is how much
Another
you're
check
going to
and
receive."
balance.
Another check and balance.
Yes.
And depending on how much we receive,
Mhm.
then it has to go back to me to make those cuts.
Right. And you work with your other
My
administrators and
central
teachers
office
and your
team
central office
and
team
unions,
to
et
kind of
cetera.
figure out. And that's right. The unions is another component of that too.
Yes,
That's right.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
there's lots of discussion that's going on.
There's a lot of
Right.
discussion.
Right. Now,
There is a lot of discussion.
here's a question for you. When the people of the city go into an uproar, or some people do, not everyone does, about the Board of Education, is that helpful?
I think feedback is helpful.
Excellent. Good
Feedback is
answer.
helpful. It's helpful to know
Yes.
what people feel about certain policies,
Mm-hmm.
certain issues that come before the board, that come before me.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's helpful. Respectful dialogue, feedback
Mm-hmm.
is helpful, and it's important.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Taxes are always touchy.
Yes, understandable.
Yeah,
Understandably.
understandably. Yes.
Understandably. We understand.
Yes.
Definitely understand that.
And local, not just our local board of education or our public schools, but local communities are under a lot of stress and pressure
Yes.
these days. That's another question. That's for another time, I guess. We can kind of talk a little bit about that. One of the things, again, all right, so there's clarification there. So then it would go to the budget, goes through several checks, approvals. It goes to the Board of Finance. The Board of Finance then comes back and says, would you consider these things? And so then then what happens is it goes back to the Board of Finance for an approval. Or is that how it works? And then it goes before the Finance Board and the City Council at a joint meeting for the final
Yes,
approval.
yes,
So the City Council has to approve, the body has to approve it then.
right,
It's not simply the City Council. It's
Right.
not simply the Finance
it's joint.
Board.
Mhm.
It is both have oversight,
Yes.
and they have to say this is going to work or this is not going to work.
Mhm. And then it has to go back, like this year, it went back to our Board of Education
Hmm.
because there were still cuts that needed to be made because it was less than the amount that the board had forwarded to.
Right.
So they voted essentially on a number because we need a number
Hmm.
because we need to build the budget and make sure the budget is set for the next fiscal year.
Hmm. And that was happening while the state was determining whether or not it was going to provide municipalities with more funds for their education
Yes.
budgets.
Yes,
So that was something that happens, and it's an intense process.
it's very intense.
It's an intense process.
I know there's some districts I think are still going through it. They don't have an official
Yeah.
budget yet.
Right.
They have referendums and referendums were voted down, so they have to
And then they have
make
to
more cuts and then go.
We don't
bring it
have
back.
a referendum
Right,
situation here,
Right, right.
and that would be in our charter, and that's just knowing civics, which
Mhm.
I think is something that we could all benefit from.
Yes.
Knowing process is good. They would help a lot with our blood pressure overall, or maybe increase it at different times,
Yes.
I guess. And when a budget is been approved, it has this year. That doesn't mean that's the end of the budgeting process because now you have oversight during the year and you have regular
Absolutely.
reporting.
Absolutely.
Regular reporting, and there are things that come up during the school year, which you put a number in for, but you don't have the exact number because you're anticipating
Right. It's
what
an
costs are
estimate.
going to be.
Mhm.
So when people read about things happening with the Board of Education budget, the Bristol Public School budget, and they see that this year you've fallen behind
Mhm.
in your special education funding
Mhm.
or transportation or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Should they panic, or should they just kind of like sit back and see what comes from that to find out what's happening?
So it's complex
Mhm.
because, as you say, it's an estimate. We can't always predict when new students are going to come in.
Mhm.
You have IEPs, what students are going to leave, what students are going to come in, what their needs are going to be. It's difficult to predict that. We don't always know how much excess cost share money we're going to receive. We get estimates from the state, but sometimes those estimates are over what we actually end up
Mhm.
receiving.
Yeah.
So that's another variable. One other thing with the budget that we are looking to implement next school year is a financial dashboard.
Mhm.
This really came as a suggestion from some of our Board of Finance members about a year ago about how can we do a better job of helping them monitor where our funds are going, how they're being spent, some of those variables like
Mhm.
special ed students coming in, leaving. How can we track that better? And how can there be a way for the public to really be able to see where their tax dollars are going?
So
And
this would
so-
be a dashboard that would be available on a public platform
Probably
where
our
people could
website.
check in and on the all the geeks and the nerds
Yes.
who are out there, and the ones who are counting their pennies and things like that. They can
Mhm.
look and see what's actually happening there to try to understand the process.
Absolutely. And so that's Jeff Telke is the director
Mm-hmm.
of IT and student data for the district. And he's built this platform, no cost,
Mm-hmm.
because we had some estimates of like $200,000 to help us build a dashboard.
So
And
this
Jeff
is
Telke-
under his hat,
under his
under
hat.
his job, under
Yes.
his responsibilities. He's coming
Absolutely.
up with that. Yes.
Yes. And he's been able to show a draft, a preview last week to the finance committee of our Board of Education. And at the next Board of Finance committee, he's going to show a preview,
Mm-hmm.
hoping to get feedback from the different stakeholders on what it looks like, how it can be improved, how we have the public forward piece, but making sure that we're cognizant of student confidentiality and
Yeah.
just have to make sure that
all
all
the
of those
stuff, yeah,
things are
yeah.
in place.
Which are
Yes.
necessities. I mean, yeah,
Yes.
you got to be able to do that and be aware of those kinds of things. Sure. So, as the superintendent,
Mhm.
looking at the superintendent role and duties and responsibilities, right? Your team comes up with and you approve a budget,
Mhm.
and that deliberation goes on after you go through these checks and balances to kind of pare things back. So, is there one area that you would have loved to have seen be approved that ended up getting cut from the budget?
So, as part of my initial budget request, there were some staffing positions, mostly generated from the school administrators because they submit their budgets, and that helps me build the district budget. And in particular, we talk a lot about early intervention,
Mhm.
being proactive with our early learners, set them up for success. Kindergarten is a key piece. Absolutely, as much as support as we can provide at the kindergarten level for students, not just academically, but also social behaviorally as well. We have a number of students who were born during,
Oh, yes,
COVID,
yes,
and
yes,
so they're the
the COVID,
COVID
yes.
babies, and a lot are coming in with that. This is their first school experience and their first experience in a structured environment, so they need a lot of support.
Mhm.
And so in my initial proposal was kindergarten teaching assistants
Mhm.
that unfortunately had to be cut in order to balance the
Yeah,
budget.
and I
That
imagine
was
too,
one that made me, particularly
imagine
sad.
and having the personal contact is really
Yes.
important. There's a whole socialization that goes
Yes.
on with dealing with other people, other contexts, listening to people,
Mhm.
behavior. That's it. But preschool is, we've got the pre-K over at Edgewood, which
Yes, yes.
they graduated already this year, right?
Yes, yes, their last day was last
Last
Friday.
Friday, yes. So that's preschool. So what the role of pre-K and development of students, say aside from COVID and just the socialization.
Mhm.
I guess, well, you can't really take out socialization, but you have to kind of account for that somehow. So preschool kids come in, and what's that like?
It's really I would encourage you to come visit when they're
I'm
at
going to
Green
do that.
Hills.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
you should come visit the classrooms because you'll see the level of support that is provided to these students. I mean, these young children academically, play, all of it. It's just a wonderful, warm experience, and very excited about the new building, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in the meetings where we've talked about the physical environment, and they've talked about all the different considerations for the different students and the needs of the students because there are a number of students with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a great part of the program, too, is that you have that inclusive piece where you have students without disabilities and students with disabilities
Mm-hmm.
learning together in a very happy, positive environment, inclusive
And
environment.
it is a culture you create. It's not something that
Yes,
happens necessarily naturally,
right.
but it's something you create.
Yeah. And
And I,
those friendships are built.
right,
And
right, right. They are. And I mean, in the high school where I was, we had a community of students who with disabilities, and they were really involved in the culture of the school and really contributed just by who they were.
Mhm.
And it made it such a wonderful environment.
Yes.
So I could see that happening, sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
I do have to say that I have been to preschool. I have read at my grandchildren's classrooms. I made sure that on the mystery reader day that I always sign up for that. So
Mhm.
you see what's
Oh,
happening there with the
fun.
kids. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of fun. Really enjoyed that. Speaking of the pre-K new buildings, we have a new building that's come online. We closed one building this year, and we have Northeast Middle School, and I think that might be something that actually one of Aaron Lopez was out there, and
Yes.
Aaron has a video of was saying goodbye to the old school.
Yes, it was a great event last Monday night, I believe.
Yeah.
Dan Sandstrom, Principal Sandstrom, and Dean Michelle Kent did a really great job. They had a lot of the different items that
Mhm.
were in archives that they brought out in the gym that people could look through. And it was just really fun walking through and seeing the reunions that took place.
Mhm.
You know, students walking through and saying to the teacher, "Do you remember me?" And the teacher looking at the student, "I think I remember you." And then I met a number of people, even staff here, who introduced me to their friends that they met when they were students at Northeast Middle School, so they're still best friends. So
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
really
absolutely.
wonderful. And their students were singing, so it was just a really
Yeah,
wonderful job. And I know Aaron was there, and I think we have a video
yeah.
from the event.
So it was the late 50s, the main part of the building, and then they put an addition on early 60s. It's been many things. It's a middle school now that's a 6, 7, 8. It was a K-8 school. It was a junior high. So it's gone through many different phases. We want to give people the chance to see it. People who went here, people who worked here, people who just lived near here, get a chance to come see the building. It's a great community. It's one of the last really neighborhood middle schools. We have, we have 7 buses that come here. The rest are walkers, so it's a neighborhood middle school. But it has its problems. It's an old building. The plumbing's not good. There's no air conditioning. The halls are narrow. The lockers are, it's seen its day. So we really needed a new facility, and we're getting a gorgeous air-conditioned, beautiful big gym and everything we need over in the new building. We'll still be northeast though, even though, you'll see the building get knocked down, but we'll still have a lot of the people who were here and the memories they have. There's people collecting the yearbooks, are going to put them digital, so those will be shared. So if you went here, we'll still have the memories of it. But hopefully when we have an open house in the new building, they can come see that.
That was fun. I mean, I thought Dan Sandstrom did a nice job.
Yes, he did.
He covered all the bases, and even there was some footage there about the new school,
Yes.
virtual footage of the new school. And so, is that something you're looking forward to?
Oh,
It's like-
we're very excited, and it looks like it will be completed next month. And so we're already planning the grand dedication and opening,
Oh yeah,
probably early August.
yeah.
And then I know there were some people who asked if there are going to be tours, and we're going to have community tours of the new building.
That's terrific.
So that will be part of it. And we'll also have the dedication of the gymnasium for Sergeant Alex Hamsey.
Mm-hmm.
That will be part of it
Right.
as well.
Yeah. All right. And we did have the dedication over
Yes.
at Green Hills.
Mhm.
Of yes. So, is there anything in this school that you kind of I mean, it's all new, and what
It's
would
all
you
new.
consider something that the public should be aware of as far as a new school and the components of it? I mean, is it incorporated something that maybe I'm not aware of, or other people might not be aware of, or if in the technology, say, or something?
I hear Jeff Telke, our director of IT, talk about a lot of the technology talk is over my head, but state of the art technology.
Okay.
And I was talking to the technology teacher at the current one at NEMS, and he was talking about his excitement about what his new room is going to look like
Oh,
and all the
yeah.
capabilities. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just really, really exciting.
Yeah. I just any robotics being introduced?
Probably. I think they have everything there.
Yeah.
It's going to be really
Yeah.
top
But,
line, state of the art.
It's interesting though, with the technology, there have been initiatives, say with the, the one computer per kid kind of thing. And now people are looking at that a little bit critically and saying it maybe wasn't the best thing to do. We've learned, so have we learned anything about that? Are kids still going to be getting their own device?
Yes, I think that's still in play, but
Yeah.
technology is so expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything marked up now, it's amazing how much the technology costs.
Yeah.
So it's a concern.
Right.
But I know the benefit of students having their own technology.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we have to weigh the costs of all the new technology, and also we want them interacting, right? We want them
Mhm.
also
Yeah. Yeah. With each
not
other.
so and with each other. Yes, not just with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
machine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
with
mean, there's the specter
technology.
of AI hanging over our
Yes.
heads, which is interesting too, and that's another entire conversation that we can talk about. So there's the new buildings, and I guess I would be remiss if I didn't, mention some of the developments with the hiring process over
Yes.
at Bristol Central High School.
Mhm. Yes.
So where do things stand right now?
So currently, we have a pretty stringent hiring process in terms of background checks, medical checks. It takes some time.
Mhm.
And so my recommended candidate that I'm going to forward to the board, I haven't forwarded to the board yet,
Mhm.
just completed that whole process of the background checks. So that will take place
Mhm.
very, very, very soon. And so once it's the board is notified of my official recommendation, we will schedule a meeting shortly
Mhm.
for the vote. There's the Bristol Central High School principal position, as well as two other positions that I might be also bringing forward as they wrap up
Will
the
they wrap
interview
up? Will
process.
Green Hills be part of that too?
There's a Green Hills assistant principal
Mhm.
position. There was also a dean at Chipman's Hill Middle School.
Mhm.
So those three positions might be on the same night for a vote. And we just posted the Green Hills principal position. Mr. Scott Gaudet is taking another position in Torrington.
Mhm. Okay. All right. So, and of course, there's been a lot on social media about
Yes.
the Bristol Central position, and I think as the superintendent, again, we talked earlier about roles, responsibilities, checks and balances, and all that when coming to the budget process. So,
Mhm.
in this particular instance, and this is under state statute, I believe, the
Yes.
superintendent is the person who is tasked with making the final determination for a candidate. So how would you describe your hiring process? Some of the thoughts about new hires.
Mhm.
What are your standards?
So there is a selection committee that is formed, and the candidates go through a rigorous process. There's an interview component. There's also a performance assessment component. And then the committee recommends candidates to me.
Mhm.
And then I have the final interview, which is a series of questions. And so, really, part of what I look at is people who are open to feedback, also open to new initiatives, new ways of looking at things, looking at change. And we understand the traditions. We understand there's some basic practices, good practices in schools that should be followed always. And we know that schools have their own traditions, but also want to look at there's other innovative ways that we can meet student needs and meet all student needs. And when I say all students, I'm talking about diverse students because Bristol has become more diverse. So we have cultural, linguistically diverse students. We also have students with disabilities.
Mhm.
And so we want to think about how we can try to meet the needs of all those students.
Um, I I think too about that process. Now, is there actually a vote taken, or is this something where you work off of a rubric and people total up totals and then you get numbers?
So
I'm kind of. I
there's
mean,
a
I've
yeah.
been in several different kinds of processes
Mhm.
where, like when I was on the library board,
Mhm.
we hired someone. We had our qualities that we were looking for, and people got their assessment, and so that was kind of part of it.
Mhm.
There was a conversation, of course, when the numbers came in.
Mhm.
So what was this? So help me out with that.
So there is a scoring
Yeah, some
process.
kind of scoring chart.
Scoring
Yeah,
process,
yeah,
and it's really just to sort of guide thinking
yeah. Mm-hmm.
about the recommended candidate and what the candidates bring forward.
Mm-hmm.
We bring forward to the position.
Mm-hmm.
And so I received that information. There isn't a formal vote
Mm-hmm.
that's taken by the interview committee now.
Mm-hmm. But and the other thing too is this whole process is basically a confidential one.
Yes.
It does with personnel.
Yes.
So I mean, there have been things that circulated saying that there was a vote, other types of things like that. So I'm always curious about that, and the hiring
Mhm.
process like that. But then that information would come to you, and you would make your determination.
Yes.
Is there anything on there that automatically um, that might slant things in favor of a local candidate
In terms of
in
the
terms of like
process,
hiring or something like
the
that?
hiring process,
Yeah.
I think as a local candidate, you always know more about the school, right,
Yeah.
and the community, and
Right.
so
Yeah.
might be easier to answer the questions. You
Mhm.
might have the responses
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're familiar with the community. But an external person should do their homework, right? They should
Yes.
look at the school's data. They should look at the community. They should do their homework, I would think, before you go into
Yeah.
an interview in a
I would-
different district.
Got it. So this unfolds. What's left to the process right now? The process.
So really, am I making the formal recommendation to the Board of Education and then scheduling the meeting for them to vote?
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what are they voting on?
So they would vote on whether or not they approve my recommendation.
So it's approving your recommendation, not
Yes.
approving the person, but they're approving the recommendation. And what would happen if they didn't do that?
Then there's, I believe, a time frame where I could recommend another candidate.
Yeah.
And then it'd be the same thing. They would then,
It's the same. So
Okay.
it's the process. There's checks and balances,
yes,
and this is what we go through. But it's the superintendent who makes the determination
of who would be
on
recommended.
who would be
Yes.
recommended.
Yes.
Yes, that's
And
that's
I-
critical. Yes.
I do see there's a question about, am I planning to meet the principal public event? Yes, for both
Yes.
the Bristol Central High School principal and the Green Hills
Right.
principal.
So that would
Yes,
be the
absolutely.
next step in the process. Would
That
be
would
once
be
the
after they're
principal is
hired,
named, then
yes.
after they're hired, then there would be a whole introduction, which
Absolutely.
seems to be the way things operate here in Bristol now.
Yes.
You've got Family Fun Day where teachers and administrators are going to be on hand.
Yes.
You've got the pencil hunt and the back to school day
Mhm.
where people are available. So there's more personal contact, and so you kind of do that. So it makes sense that there would be a welcome the principal, a new
Mhm.
principal to our school community.
Absolutely. That's a
Yes,
priority.
do that. That's
Yes.
great. We are winding down.
Oh, wow. Quick.
I know time goes by.
It always goes by quick.
Yeah, they go by quick. We did talk a little bit about a Citizens Academy that is
Yes.
over at City Hall, and how the Bristol Public Schools it will be part of maybe the next iteration of that.
Yes, I hope so.
And so I guess the Citizens Academy is to educate anyone in the public who would like to learn about how city government works.
Yes.
So, and then what they do is they take people from the departments who head up the certain sessions,
Mhm.
and then people can Zoom in or they can be on hand personally,
Right.
and they can learn about and they can ask questions about how
Yes.
the city operates.
Yes.
And so that's something that you will, and the Bristol Public Schools will be
Absolutely.
involved in, and you're looking
Yes,
forward
we
to
will.
that.
Very much looking forward to
Right,
that. I think it's a
right.
great opportunity.
So here we are. We're winding down another episode, and I hope we get to the next our next one on the schedule.
I hope so too.
I mean, I don't know what your plans are for vacation this summer, but we're going to have to, we're going to have to do that soon. Is there anything that you wanted to add that we kind of missed? I mean, we do have another member of the Board of Education. As an
Yes.
appointed member, someone who resigned, and we're
Yes.
bringing on, Jennifer Tagarello.
Yes.
So we have that happening. So there's plenty of things to talk about as we move through. But it's
Absolutely.
always great to have a conversation with you, Iris. And it's
Thank you.
and yes, things I guess they do go by fast like this.
Yes, they do.
So I don't know if there's something that you wanted to mention, but I think with that in mind, we are going to be wrapping up. Oh, I guess we want to know what the biggest challenges we're going to be facing, and for the school district as to wrap up, something light and fun.
Something light and fun. Challenge always meeting the needs of staff and students with balancing that with the taxpayers.
Yeah. So
trying to be very cognizant of how we're spending the money, where the resources are going, and making sure the resources are going directly to benefit the students directly. Yes.
And I know, middle school sports was an issue.
Yes.
And teams, and I know how important that is, not just in the Bristol city of Bristol, the conversation, but to the development of young people and having
Absolutely.
opportunities.
Having opportunities to engage. Yes.
All right. So we'll pick up on our biggest challenges next time.
Yes, that sounds
Right.
good.
So this is Iris White, Superintendent of Bristol Public Schools, and David Fortier, and this is Superintendent Time, and we're signing off. We'll see you next time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.